Friendships can get tricky as we get older. And today, I thought we'd talk about it. Welcome in, I'm Kimberly. This is Pretty Over 50, where we talk everything beauty, fitness, and lifestyle for the over 50 and way over 60, almost 70-year-old women. I'm so glad you stopped by today. We're going to be talking about friendships, which can become a different kind of landscape as we get older. There seem to be lots of challenges and difficulties, but friendships are so important. So we're going to do a deep dive today into friendships as we age. And mostly what I want to know from you is, how have your friendships changed? But before we get started, I want to do a Hug Club update. If you're not familiar with the Hug Club, it's so fun. It is so fun. I will link a video down in the description box down below if you're interested in finding out more. It is a monthly collection club where I send out a whole bunch of really fun things for you to play with throughout the month. And if you want, we will hook you up with a pen pal. So today I want to shout out the letters that are going out to my pen pals this week. The first one is to Diana. Oh, Diana in Germany. She's actually a girlfriend of mine. I'm really excited for her to get this one. The next one is to Lisa, and she's right down the hill from me. Lisa, you're right down the hill from me in Lincoln, California. The next one up is Shannon. Shannon from Edmonton, Alberta. I guess I'm going to have to get a special stamp for this. I'll ask him at the post office. I'm excited for you to get this one. After that is Karen. Karen from San Diego. Oh, you're so lucky to live in San Diego. It's gorgeous there. So look for the letter in your mailbox soon. And then we have Jennifer in Ephrata, Pennsylvania. I've never heard. Did I pronounce that right? How do you pronounce that? Jennifer, you got a letter coming. And Debbie in Galloway, Ohio. I'm so excited to send these letters out. This is just the most exciting part of the Hug Club for me. All the connections we're going to make. And it's my dream to have this web all around the globe of us more mature women connecting with each other, building friendships, and having a lot of fun. The Hug Club is open for anyone. You can join at any time. It's only $10 a month, so why not give it a try? The link is in the description box down below. We'd love to have you. And ladies, check your mailbox. You got letters coming. I want to talk about friendships today because I've noticed changes in my life, and you've probably noticed changes in your life as well. And I want you to comment down below and tell me what changes you've seen. So when we're younger, we're in school, we're surrounded by people that we could make friends with. And then we go to college, still surrounded by people that we could make friends with. And then, some of us get married and have a family and move into a community. And then you have all these neighbors with little kids. And then if you did sports with your kids, oh my gosh, that's a whole nother level. That's spending entire weekends with other families. For soccer tournaments or cheer tournaments, I did all that. And boy, get to know people, absolutely, because you're with them all weekend long, weekend after weekend after weekend, doing traveling stuff. It's crazy. And then, of course, jobs. That's a great place, to meet people and connect. However, once you get a little bit older, maybe late 50s, 60s, I'm almost 70, maybe you've retired. The kids are grown. They, have the audacity to create their own lives. Go figure. And the whole friendship landscape can change. Now, if you live in the same community that you raised your kids in or that you grew up in, and you have the same people in your life, it might be a little bit easier of a transition into, being a more mature person, perhaps retired, than it is for people who might have moved. In other words, they retired and they moved to a new town. So there's different levels and layers that happen as we grow older. But one thing I want to point out, gals, and this is something not to be overlooked, because it has definitely impacted our journey as more mature women growing older and maintaining meaningful friendships. With the whole COVID thing, there was just a lot of loss in relationships. And it doesn't matter, which camp you fall into, what choices you made, how you managed that whole time. I think most of us probably had experiences where relationships we'd had for decades fell away for one reason or another. And I don't think it matters where you were at personally. It was a very, very divisive time, or for a lot of people, it was divisive. If you sailed through with no problems with relationships, good on you and lucky you. I think a lot of people had some real challenges. And that divisiveness that started really during COVID, in my mind, has almost intensified a little bit in a more subtle way, because it's not just one topic now, it's lots of topics. And in my opinion, and from what I've seen, and you might agree with this as well, it's being stoked, that divisiveness. Because I can look on social media and see all this conflict and all these angry people and all these different points of view that are very, very strong and solidified in their position. And yet when I go out in the world, everybody's nice. Everybody's nice. I don't have that problem in my daily life. And to be honest with you, I think in a way, one-on-one, human to human, there's almost a renaissance in really valuing that connection, that human connection, because the people I'm running into, everybody's tired, everybody's worn out, everybody's a little bit, I don't know, bruised from the last several years. And so it's important for them and me to reach out and have a very warm exchange. So I've definitely noticed that person to person, it's wonderful. So I really look at all the conflict that I see out there in the world, which is mostly on social media, is being almost stoked and fabricated. So there's that. We are in a unique position, ladies, because of the age that we're at and the conflict or divisiveness that has been thrown on the population, maybe without us even doing much to deserve it. So it has made making friends older a little bit more challenging. So if you're retired and the kids are grown and maybe your neighborhood has changed over to people you don't know as well, what are we to do? What are we to do if we don't feel like we have meaningful friendships that are fulfilling and make our life a little bit better? One of the things that happens to us as we grow older is we gain experience. Like I like to say that, we've got miles on us. We've been there, done that. This is not our first rodeo about anything. And most of us, and I know this goes for me, I have fewer friends than I did when I was in my 20s, 30s, 40s, and probably early 50s. When I was in my 30s and 40s, I was married, we had kids, we had a huge social life. I mean, I was the founder and director of the Granite Bay Wine Club for 12 years. Super social. We were doing dinner parties. We were going out to dinner. We were doing all kinds of stuff, Christmas parties, this and that, wine club every other month. It was a very, very social life. My life today is very different, very different. And when I look back at those relationships and those friendships, I probably wouldn't have most of them in my life now, the people that I had in my life then. Is it because they're not nice people? No. Is it because I didn't like them? No. It was just maybe because as we get older, we just fall away from lots and lots of social interaction. And I think we become a little bit more discerning about who we spend our time with and a little more discerning about how we want to spend our time. I call it pruning. I don't call it losing friends or choosing not to make friends. I really call it pruning because my understanding of what makes a good friendship, something I want to invest my time in and my emotional energy and my social capital in, has changed. And it's much more specific now. And I guess I'm a little bit more picky about where I want to spend my time than I used to be. One of the important things that I always keep in mind, and maybe you do too, about friendships and the importance of maintaining friendships is there have been a lot of studies done about what creates a happy, healthy older person. And I would call myself older. I'm about 3 months from 70. The three important factors that they've identified is, first of all, staying active. That's moving, whether you walk or you garden or you've got some type of sport. Pickleball is really big right now. A lot of people golf. A lot of people do a lot of fun things. I'm an avid kayaker. I love to garden. I love to take my dog for walks. So staying active is one of the important pillars of a successful older life. The second thing dovetails right into that, and that is having interests. People who are really interested in something, a hobby, a sport, a cause, a mission, just something that you love to do. If you have keen interest, in other words, you pop out of bed in the morning and you can't wait to get started on whatever that interest is, that's a real sign of a person who's going to live a much happier, more fulfilled older life because they've got a purpose. I happen to fall in the category of having all those things in spades. I'm so interested in the world around me, and I have interests that I haven't even dove into yet that are on my to-do list. But right now, I have the crochet that I love to do. I'm painting up a storm these days. I'm doing all the illustrations for the Hug Club, which I love. I love to hike. I love to kayak. So there's a lot of reasons for me to get out of bed in the morning. I'm not casting around bored looking for something to do. So the three pillars, the first one is movement, staying physically active because that helps your body feel better, which helps you feel better. Second is having interests. And a third is connections. Important people in your life, people you love, people you look forward to connecting with, people you want to find out how their day is going or what's new in their life. Those connections are so important to us as we grow older. So how do we balance that desire for a specific type of friend with the information that friendships are so important as we mature? Something that happens to us as we grow older, it happens to most of us, is we finally wake up that one day with the implicit permission to be who we are. We're done pretending, we're done going along, we're done acting like we're having fun when we're not. We're just done with the whole thing. And I don't know why it happens. It seems to happen at different places for different people, but it does happen along the way. We just fall away from engaging in things that don't really speak to us, that don't really fulfill us, that don't really motivate us. And we start doing the things that we want to do. We start being the person we want to be. We start wearing the clothes we want to wear that feel comfortable to us. So it's a sea change as we mature. And I think the girlfriends that I have now are so valuable to me because they value those things. They are who they truly are. They're not pretending anymore. They're not doing things they don't want to do. They're real. They're honest. They're connected to themselves and they're connected to the people in their life. And that acknowledgement of who we are really at the core of our being really can impact the people that we want to allow into our lives. I know for me that, I've moved around a lot. You know that if you've been following me for a while. So I have landed in new towns where I didn't know anybody. over and over and over again. Why do I do it? I love seeing things. I could spend the next 500 years traveling around this planet just because I want to see stuff. I want to see stuff and I want to do stuff. I don't want to miss anything. So for me, it's worth it to travel to a new place, to live in a new place for a while, because I want to see that new place. Well, what comes with that moving and uprooting and setting up a new home in a new town where I don't know anybody is I've got to find some friends, or I'll be sitting by myself all alone in wherever I live, or, hiking alone or whatever, which I don't mind. But, sometimes it's fun to have friends. What I do when I get to a new town, and this is by experience, I have found that I find friends along the way. When I am doing stuff I love, when I am doing fun things that I enjoy doing, friends just seem to pop up. However, one thing I want to point out is I have also found over the years, and maybe you have too, put it down in the comments how you find friends now. My radar for friends, and I'm finding this over and over again, is it's not so much that they have to think like me, because they don't. Most of my friends, have wide ranges of beliefs or interests. I find that I'm more drawn to a personality type or an energetic type. I like very nice people who are fun to be with. I mean, who doesn't? And I have learned over the years to very clearly discern who I'm meeting and who I'm getting to know. And what I'll generally do is I'll meet someone and maybe develop just a real casual friendship. And I'll say something like, would you like to go for lunch or maybe for a walk? You pick, lunch or walk. Which one sounds good to you? And I'll let them pick. And what I have found is that gives me enough time to talk with a person. There goes Lucy. She's barking at something. Hang on, let me go get her. Okay, I'm back. I don't know what she was barking at. But what I have learned is that amount of time, that walk or that lunch, really gives me an idea if this is a friendship I want to pursue. And I'll give you an example. When I was living in one of the towns I lived in before, I won't mention it because I don't want to call anybody out, I met a gal whose belief systems were very similar to mine, and who was interested in things around the planet right now, very similar to mine. And I said, hey, let's go have lunch. We had lunch. Well, what I found out during the course of that lunch is this was not a person I really wanted to pursue a friendship with. Not because we didn't think alike, because we did. I just noticed kind of an underlying thread of negativity. And that's fine. That's fine. I don't need her to change. I don't need me to change. Nothing. I just noticed it. And when I got home from the lunch and I was thinking about it, I made the decision that, probably not a direction I want to go in, because I don't want to be around someone who's kind of always bringing up the negative. It's just me. Some people love that. Some people love to talk about the things in their life that are frustrating. I don't generally do that. You will generally find me with a very nice, kind-hearted person who's fun to be with. Do they have to think like me? No. Why do I hang out with them? Because I'm all about the fun. I'm all about the fun. I do a fun thing and then I go do another fun thing and then I go do another fun thing. It's just what I do. I'm not interested in not doing fun things. I mean, who is? Who doesn't want to do fun things? I have so many interests. I can self-entertain for days or weeks on end. I just can. But I do like to have some fun friendships in my life because these are people I care about, people that I want to know what's going on in their life, people that I love talking to. So here's what I want to know from you. Do you feel like you have enough friends? Do you feel like you could use more friends? Have you decided to have fewer friends? How have your relationships changed as the years have gone on? I'm still friends from all the people in my 30s and 40s and 50s, and friends that I've met from traveling around the US and other countries. I just don't necessarily connect with them daily or weekly or monthly, maybe once a year. That's it. My daily and weekly friends, that group is really, really small because I have a very small social battery at this age. How has your social battery changed? When I was younger, my social battery was a lot bigger. I could do a lot of social things day after day after day, all day long. Now my social battery is pretty small. If I do a couple of social things throughout the week, I'm good. I'm good because I have all kinds of interests to do here at home or, out on the water or hiking on trails that fill me up and keep me busy. So I want to know, have you become more of a quiet person as you've gotten older or less of a quiet person? Have your friends stuck with you? Have you stuck with them? How have things changed? I do think it's important as we become a little bit more discerning as we get older and maybe a little less energetic when it comes to doing party stuff. I mean, if it's dark, I'm home. It's not as though I'm hanging out past midnight anywhere. It's 9 o'clock. I'm heading to bed. So that definitely has impacted my social life. If it's going to happen after dark, I'm probably not going to be there unless you're going to be driving. So we are in a unique time right now because we're growing older and changing up our friendships in a time on the planet when things are almost more divisive than ever. And I have found that allowing people to be exactly who they are and to believe exactly what they want to believe and to do exactly what they want to do is a recipe for happiness. They're happier, I'm happier, everybody's happier. I'm not getting in conflicts with people about their life choices. I am so beyond that. What I do now is I decide for me, just for me, is that something I want to do? Does that sound fun? Do I have a good time with that person? Do I always learn something from that person? Does that person feel good when I think of them? Am I happy when I see them pop up on my phone? Those are choices that I get to make. What choices other people make, that is their business. And they get to own it and keep it, and I support them in it because it's that tapestry that makes this world so fun and interesting. And I think if we can allow people to be who they are, to express themselves, and to walk through life in a way that feels good for them, it ends up feeling good for all of us in the end. So here's what I want to know from you. Do you have more friends or fewer friends now that you're a little older? Do you find it hard to make friends, or is it easy? Maybe you grew up in the same town that you're living in now. So you're surrounded by people you went to grade school with. How fun for you. Maybe you've moved a lot like me and every town is a new adventure. Tell me how friendships have been for you. And what I want to know as well is, how have you changed regarding friendships? Are you more discerning now? Are you less judgmental? Are you more easy with your choices? How have friendships changed for you? Well, that's what I have for you today. I really, really wanted to talk about friends because I know it's something that can be a challenge as we get older. Remember, we want to stay active, physically active. We want to have a lot of interests and we want to have a lot of meaningful connections. And when I say a lot, I mean the connections we have need to be meaningful. I have much fewer friends now, like the daily, all the time friends than I did when I was in my 40s and 50s. And you know what? They mean more to me now, and they're more valuable to me now because they're so real, and I like that. Okay, for all my huggers, look, I got a little heart on your envelope. I'm so excited you're going to be getting your letters this week. If you haven't joined the Hug Club, come on over. It is super fun. We're building connections and friendships all around the globe. That's my goal and my dream. I'd like to see this huge web of women connecting around the planet and supporting each other as we grow older together. The link is in the description box down below for the Hug Club. It's super fun. It's only $10 a month, so why not? Love to have you join us. Again, I'm Kimberly. This is Pretty Over 50, where we talk everything beauty, fitness, and lifestyle for the over 50 and over 60, almost 70-year-old woman. Thank you so much for stopping by. You know, it just makes my day when you take a few minutes out of your day to spend it with me. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you. Make it a great week, and I'll see you next Sunday. Bye now.